Come in, come in.
Hey, Sergeant, you can let them in now.
Okay, action.
Welcome to the Tibet Center here at 502 North Ridgewood Road, South Orange, New Jersey. We'll begin by reciting the prayer for the spreading of the teachings throughout the length and breadth of the West, which you'll find on the front page down a little lower. By the force of the blessings of the non-fallacious three precious gems, and with the truth of our pure selfless wishes, may the precious Buddhist teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West. For all the people living there together with their near ones, who have engaged in the teachings and have faith and respect for them, may all conditions adverse to their practice of the pure Dharma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions increase like the waxing moon. And especially for those who work on methods to accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the victorious one's teachings, which are the source of benefit and happiness. May they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may they spontaneously happen just as they were accomplished. Thus have I heard once, the blessed ones dwelling in the royal domain of the Bolshevik mountain, together with a big gathering of great monks and great bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the Samadhi, which examines the dharmas called profound illumination, and at the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, how should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge? And Avalokiteshvara answered, Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this, seeing the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Form is empty, emptiness itself is form. Emptiness is not separate from form, form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating awareness, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Thus all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing. They are neither impure nor pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no objects of mind, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind consciousness. There are no, nor their wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, the bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge, and since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear, they transcend falsity and pass beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future, by means of transcendent knowledge, fully and clearly awaken to unsurpassed, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering, should be known as truth, for there is no deception. In transcendent knowledge, the mantra is proclaimed. Tadyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhisvaha. O Shariputra, this is how a Bodhisattva Mahasattva should learn profound transcendent knowledge. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family, profound transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you were taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering of the world with its gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praised the words of the Blessed One. And now we generate bodhicitta. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world.
With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion,
Today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world.
So let's do a rosary of Om Mani Padme Hum. And you can imagine as you recite this mantra of compassion, the wish to remove the suffering of others, that you are inhaling all the miseries of the world, all the difficulties that others are experiencing, and that extinguishes your sense of self-cherishing that you feel as a flame at your heart. And as you breathe out, you can breathe all your virtue, all your merit out and share with others. Okay. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme. Om Mani Padme Hum. So this practice of imagining that you are assuming the suffering of all others and that you are providing them with virtue was traditionally a secret practice. It was a very hidden practice. It was one of those practices engaged in by practitioners who were really serious about cultivating the essence of a spiritual path. We're doing it as part of the, let's say, the introduction to our classes. I think that spending this little bit of time reciting one rosary of Om Mani Padme Hum and really, let's say, tasting of the essence of what a spiritual practice is all about is important. The idea of compassion, which we can talk about, which we can think about, but the idea of compassion, which is this wish to remove the suffering of others, if we actually imagine that we're doing it, if we actually think of all the challenges, the difficulties, the hardships, the suffering that others are experiencing, and if we act upon that wish to remove it, and we think of it as something that we are taking on, that makes it real. And the more real we can make it, the more benefit it is to us and thereby to others. If we consider ourselves to be let's say, a vehicle for being of benefit to others, then the more we actually engage in thoughts where we are contributing, where we are offering ourselves to others, the more real that practice is. I mean, we can talk about it, but here, if we actually, as I say, imagine that we are acting upon compassion, that's very powerful. And yes, one can think that imagining that we are assuming the suffering of others could be harmful to us, but we should consider that what are we harming? We are harming that sense of self, which is the real poison at our core. That sense of self is what causes us to engage in all the actions that cause us to suffer. And taking on the challenges, the difficulties, the hardships of others diminishes that sense of self, and therefore diminishes that cause of all our challenges. And love, which is the wish to provide for others or to others, if we imagine that we are providing all our virtue, if we imagine that we're providing all of our merit to others, that's not just thinking about or talking about love, it's actually engaging in with our minds, but engaging in the action, the essence of love. So this simple little imagination of assuming the suffering of others and providing them with happiness, and doing that with our breath as we recite Om Mani Padme Hum, is maybe the most powerful thing that we can engage in as a spiritual practice. Maybe it contains the whole thing right there in this simple practice. Okay. So, this book, Ethics for the New Millennium, is His Holiness's attempt to present the spiritual path, present a method by which we can benefit others and we can benefit ourselves in the process, in a way that is free of religion, in a way that is that has a logic in and of itself. And it's been really a wonderful experience to discover that logic together here in these classes, in these discussions. So we had arrived on page 55. You have? You don't need. You have it. So I'm going to start at the top, though we went through this. I think that this is so important. According to my experience, the principal characteristic of genuine happiness is peace, inner peace. By this, I do not mean some kind of feeling of being spaced out Nor am I speaking of an absence of feeling. On the contrary, the peace I am describing is rooted in concern for others, and it involves a high degree of sensitivity and feeling. Although I cannot claim to personally have succeeded very far in this, rather, I attribute my sense of peace to the effort to develop concern for others. Well,
He's saying that his concern for others was giving him peace back.
yeah,
It seems, in our way of thinking, that's strange.
The
And-
effort to develop concern for others.
The effort, that's a good way of thinking.
yeah. But in other words, the effort to engage in this little meditation of reciting Om Mani Padme Hum while imagining that we are taking on the suffering of others and providing them with happiness, that effort contributes to this process.
Every develop concern for others, just the wish to be concerned as a reward.
So we had been leading up to this as His Holiness has explored the ways in which things, friends, or what were the different outer phenomena providing us with happiness. Winning the lottery, swimming in a cool lake on a hot day. And there was a third one that he talked about, remember? Yeah? Do you remember the third? Come in, come in. We have the grand sofa awaiting you. So, His Holiness was explaining that outer phenomena can bring us a sort of momentary happiness, but they will not provide us with the kind of solid happiness that is the important happiness. I attribute my sense of peace to the effort to develop concern for others. So, Mark, you were stressing the word effort.
Well, I think he's just being humble. He says, I cannot claim to have personally succeeded in this. So, but probably he's just trying to meet us where we are, or where I am.
So, in other words, what's important is to put effort into the process. This fact that inner peace is the principal characteristic of happiness explains the paradox that while we can all think of people who remain dissatisfied, despite having every material advantage, there are others who remain happy, notwithstanding the most difficult circumstances. So, I think that that's important to remember. I think that we live in a society where we have access to so many things, and we are drawn to satisfying our wish for things in the belief that they will satisfy us and that they will provide us with the security and the satisfaction and the happiness that will be like a solid foundation for contentment. And to remember that there are those who have whatever they need, and are unhappy, and we can see it. And then there are those who really don't have all that they might need, and yet seem to have happiness. And to consider that, to ponder that, to recognize that happiness is not necessarily having all that you might wish for, all the things that you might wish for. Consider the example of those 80,000 Tibetans who, during the months following my escape into exile, left Tibet for the sanctuary offered them by the Indian government. The conditions they faced were hard in the extreme. There was little food available and even less medicine. The refugee camps could offer no better accommodation than canvas tents. Most people had few possessions beyond the clothes they had left home in. They wore heavy chubas, the traditional Tibetan dress, appropriate to our harsh winters, when what they really needed in India was the lightest of cotton. And there was terrible sickness from diseases unknown in Tibet. Yet for all their hardship, today the survivors exhibit few signs of trauma. Even then, few entirely lost confidence. Fewer still gave in to their feelings of sorrow and despair. I would say that once the initial shock had passed, the majority remained quite optimistic and, yes, happy. So, what have you to say about that? You've done a certain amount of moving from place to place, and
yeah, I mean, not like that. When we fled the USSR, I was 10.
You left Russia at 10?
I just barely turned 11. It's very different.
it's different, but it's still
Different climate, everything.
the point here is that if you have some kind of peace of mind, actually, I don't quite know how the Tibetans, I mean, having lived among them for many years, we had a stream of young monks who walked over the mountains out of Tibet into Nepal and then came down to the monasteries in the south of India. And they arrived with nothing, with no guarantee that everything would be okay, and yet they were fine. And now they're all working in shops and in Whole Foods and other places.
In schools. Amazing. We saw that was Holiness came to Nassau County. In Vermont, late model cars everybody was driving, families that seemed prosperous.
Yeah, and it wasn't easy. It hasn't been easy.
So what are the causes of them having that ability?
What merit you mean?
No,
Why?
No, how do they have that resilience?
How do they have that resilience?
Maybe the Dharma has become
I think so. Because
more fundamentally integrated into the collective mind of Tibetans.
The collective mind. What is the collective mind?
Chinese communists say collection. No, but it's I think he's right because families that sat around us a little bit in the upper levels where we were sitting, they responded to all the prayers in Tibet, and they're from upstate New York, near Syracuse. Wife and husband and 2 kids. The kids didn't because they didn't read yet, but the husband and wife, you know, decided we're all in their 30s at most. So they maintained the Dharma, they were into it, they were sincere. So I think that has to be a factor.
Just strikes me that in our culture there's so much talk of trauma these days, the treatment of it, and how to overcome it, and I just wonder what the Tibetans can teach us.
Well, we've all come to the Tibet Center in order to learn what the Tibetans can teach us. But what the Tibetans learned came from India and from what the Buddha taught them.
Tibetans who met in Canada seem to be very well entrenched and very established. Were you able to mix with them at all?
No.
Maybe, oh, go ahead.
I feel like it says that, I think that happiness comes from within, and no matter how much sorrow or pain you go through, once you feel and release those feelings, you can be happy again.
Once you've released the feelings of sorrow.
Yes.
So what is it that enables one to release those feelings of sorrow?
To sit with yourself and understand why you're feeling all of that.
Hope.
Hope's a big thing.
Do you think the Tibetans do that?
No, I think that the quality that Tibetans have is that the feeling of compassion and concern for others is part of a culture. And that even as they were probably walking over the mountains on their way, to freedom from oppression, if there was on those mountain paths an ant crossing the path, they would avoid it. There would be some feeling of respect for and wish to help some other being. That if there's one thing that might be part of the culture of Tibetans, it's that. And what His Holiness is saying is that just might be the cause of, here again, we might think of yes.
You can see it even in their impulses. If you're around a group, for instance, you drop something, everyone runs to help you among the Tibetans. If you're having difficulty bringing addition, oh, please, let me help you. Without even thinking, you could prove that even here. It's amazing. It is innate, though, if there's such a word as innate. Nothing is innate.
Yes, the effort to develop concern for others.
But there's also examples of certain monks, having been tortured, and so, or things that, by every definition is traumatic, and there seems to be some ability to not be traumatized. So that suggests, do you think it's still just simply having that overall sense of concern for others that repels trauma, or is it something related to wisdom?
So this guy is heavy.
No, I think he's got to
Go for it.
remember the monk that told His Holiness, I felt a lot of danger in jail.
Yeah.
And His Holiness says, what danger? I thought I would lose my compassion for
Yeah.
my torturers.
Yeah.
Not at all.
But he's asking, might that compassion be mixed with a little bit of realization of emptiness? Is that?
Oh, I don't know.
Hopefully.
I would think to not be
my case,
traumatized.
sure. Not either.
So yes, I think that compassion, true compassion, probably is enhanced by, if you think if we think of what compassion really is, which is a concern for others, the more we diminish our self-grasping, the more we will be concerned for others. And the more we are concerned with others, the more our sense of self is diminished.
So that mechanism that was always looking out for ourselves now turns and starts looking out for other sentient beings. May that happen.
Does this relate to our survival instincts?
So one of the interesting contributions I feel that His Holiness has made to the theory of evolution, survival of the fittest, where we sort of think of the fittest as being the strongest and the ones who are most able to, is the idea that compassion is a survival skill, and that it contributes to the continuation of a particular species. Without that compassionate attitude, let's say, of a mother towards her child, you wouldn't have that process of evolution. So yes. So the indication here is that if we can develop this quality of inner peace, no matter what difficulties we meet with in life, our basic sense of well-being will not be undermined. So the aim is to develop a quality of inner peace no matter what difficulties we may meet in life. But that's a rather difficult thing to do. It also follows that though there is no denying the importance of external factors in bringing this about, we are mistaken if we suppose that they can ever make us completely happy. So here, the whole idea that those things, the outer phenomena, can bring us happiness is a myth. But let's go back to this. The indication here is that if we can develop this quality of inner peace meaning a certain contentment mixed with a concern for others, no matter what difficulties we meet with in life, our basic sense of well-being will not be undermined. So there are these outer phenomena that can contribute to our ability to bring this about. Certainly our constitution, our upbringing, our circumstances all contribute to our experience of happiness. And we can all agree that the lack of certain things makes its attainment all the harder. So let's consider these in turn. Good health, friends, freedom, and a degree of prosperity are all valuable and helpful. Good health speaks for itself. We all desire it. Similarly, we all need and want friends, no matter what our situation or how successful we become. I've always been fascinated by watches, but although I am particularly fond of the one I generally wear, it never shows me any affection. The nice thing about AI is that it shows one affection. In order to attain the satisfaction of love, we need friends who can return our affection. So AI has dealt with that one. Of course, there are different kinds of friends. There are those who are really the friends of status, money, and fame, and not friends of the person who possesses these things. But I refer to those who are there to help us when we encounter a difficult stage in life, and not those who base their relationship with us on superficial attributes. So I bring up AI jokingly, but I think that AI is becoming so much a part of our environment, of our culture, of our people are going to more and more interact with AI in a sort of personal way. And it's important to think of it more like that watch, which doesn't actually have any affection for one. I think that recently in this, the little bit I understood of this, the Pope's recent encyclic on the subject, he was saying we have to really maintain a respect for the human being, for human values. Those are far more important than what is being provided to us by this technology, and those should not be in any way disregarded. I think that this is something to think about a lot here, because what His Holiness presents with his example of the watch really needs to be remembered. The relationships that we have with others, the friendships that we have, true friendships, and friendship, we can think of friendship as what we get from someone else, or else we can think of friendship as a true sharing and giving, and the happiness that we derive out of our concern for our friends.
The problem with AI right now is being heralded as an entrepreneurial tool. They can't wait to throw the programmers out of work so they can save more money. So it's pushed from that part of society right now. And it's time for everyone else to wake up and tame the AI, put it to very good use. Finding better cures, things like that. But right now, companies pushing it, going to sell on the basis we could save you a lot of money if you adapt our system, meaning labor costs. Looks like that. I don't know.
I'd love your views on this.
I don't want to be on camera.
You're not on camera. He's
No,
on camera.
I'll pass.
Well, he has a job in the industry. So I'm getting. I'm gonna pass on this one. it's a tool.
No, why? It's useful to us. It's a tool.
It's a tool.
It's a tool, and
For now, it is a tool.
Yeah, let's not worship it.
no, it's not a question of worshiping it. It is going to. This line is going to get less and less clear as we move forward.
That's the problem.
The line between what and what?
The line between the human and this technology, and
It's presented to everyone with a greedy motivation on the part of those.
But you're already attributing a motivation to those who are behind it.
Yes.
Oh
yeah.
No, but if you just consider the technology itself as evolving,
yes, but that's the problem.
but even in the evolution of the technology, there are these dangers that the Pope was sort of bringing attention to.
That's what I think he's talking about. I didn't read it thoroughly. I've heard other reporters remark on it. But things like CRISPR, for instance, develop all these ways of searching kind of disease to help a doctor diagnose a disease. Very good. Saves lives.
So
that part,
but the qualities, the human qualities that we are talking about here, as being the source of the basis for happiness, are, not to be forgotten, not to be. And peace of mind. His Holiness also keeps on talking about peace of mind, inner peace.
But when you said it could become blurred, did you mean that we might have questions over whether the AI is in fact sentient or is in fact a consciousness?
I think that AI is going to become so integrated into our lives that it's going to be, well, I think that you probably know more about this than I, but I think that it's going to be more and more, the technology is going to be there to just sort of help us think the next step through. And
It's already used in war. Ukraine is using it with their drones and everything.
we're all using it.
And they
It's
create a ton of data and feeding their machines. It's working. So motivation.
How are we using it right now?
What?
Sorry?
How are we using AI right now at this moment?
Can you answer that?
Well, this is a stream, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this gets fed through models.
This gets fed through models.
All right. Even so, those of us who are
collects
not
data and the data has to be
participating
fed.
on the stream
Has to be
are here
training
listening to
material.
a traditional teaching from teacher to student. That's not impacted by AI, is it?
No, but the technology that we use for everything that that enables our lives is becoming more and more integrated into the way we think, the way we act, and I think it's going to be more and more difficult to maintain I think that maybe a good thing for us is that if there's one task that AI will not be able to fulfill for us, it's working at meditating, working at developing familiarity with a virtue that we wish to cultivate. We have to do that. That we have to do. I'm sure that, in 10 years, we're going to find ways by which it will help us in ways that we can't imagine today. However, that work remains our work. The development of compassion, the concern for others, is not something that we can depend on something or someone else to do. It's like when you make water offerings, and when a student offers to make the water offerings for his teacher, and the teacher says, "Would you like to eat for me too?"
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Also, it can't help you develop a wisdom consciousness because it's in the realm of this and that, and
But I'm still curious about your.
If you want to hear me talk, I'll talk, but not
off the record.
Not on record.
Off the record.
I don't want to be recorded. I don't want.
Maybe
I
we
look
should
forward to
schedule
our.
a special teaching.
We will.
No,
we
no,
will.
no,
We
the
will
whole-
after while we eat.
While we eat? Well,
You can
depends
ask
on
if you can ask.
the availability of our expert.
We will demand his availability.
Did you go to work today?
While we eat.
Let him rest.
He seems to be trying to get out of it, though.
But if we conceive it as a tool, as you said,
tool.
And like any tool, like
That's
it can be
something
used
worse.
constructively or destructively.
Watch it reverse.
And it's up to us. But I also think this is a tool to crown all tools in some way.
Hey, I.
Aye, aye. I don't think so.
So, in your opinion, do you think we should be studying this? I mean,
Studying
do you
what?
well, these issues around AI. For example, should we read the Pope's encyclical?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think so. I think that reading the Pope's encyclical will remind us of the importance of our, we don't have to, his take on humanity might be a little different from ours, but I think that his reminding us that, we do the work. We have the inner spiritual work that has to be done is something that we have to do. And it's interesting when I first, you look at Buddhism. When Buddhism was first taught by the Buddha 2,500 years ago, he taught. He wanted the language of Buddhism to be a local language, not the sophisticated language of scholarship in India at the time, Sanskrit. It was taught. He taught in a generic language that covered the areas where he was teaching. It was Pali. There wasn't a language called Pali. Pali was something that could be understood by people in the villages where he was teaching, and it made its way all the way down to Sri Lanka, and then all the way to Thailand and Burma, and then Cambodia and Laos, and like that. It was never written. The written form came later, but the tradition was that you heard and you retained, you remembered, and to this day the blessings, the sort of what are they called? The oral transmissions of a teaching are oral. Yeah, and they are said to contain some kind of a potency to understand that you receive when you hear the teaching. All of that got watered down over time when people's ability to retain diminished, and then it was all written so that it wouldn't be lost. And now, when I joined the monastery, we had very few books, and I remember suggesting that we create a library at Ratu, and we bought books and we put them in the library, and people could go into the library, but that was sort of rare. Loseling had a library, and Gomang developed a library, but initially books were a rarity. And you had the book that you were studying at that time, and you sometimes had to share commentaries, but that was it. And you really studied the books that you had. You could see from the state that they were in that they had been read and reread, and then a lot was memorized. And you didn't really have access to the textbooks of other monasteries or the textbooks of other traditions. And when you had access to them, you read them, and they were important to you. Today, everything is available, however, people read far less. And so that accessibility along with it has come a diminishment in our commitment to it's something to think about. It's something to,
Maybe we
and
need
I'm
a Mind Life conference on AI.
and there was just one. They just
There
had
was
one,
one?
yeah. And
Anything published that we can,
I don't know, not that I know of. But AI is going to be
that would
a whole other step along the way of technology making things easier.
So this is a good thing.
I don't know.
be good and bad.
Having all commentaries available on an iPad
That's now.
is a good thing,
Yeah.
but no one reads anymore.
There is access and it is being preserved.
There's access and it's being preserved, but there's no one who's, the people who are accessing are fewer and fewer.
That's our job, is to make more people access. Show the joy. Well, go on. So there was a Mind Life conference on AI. I would love to.
Just recently.
On YouTube.
It's on YouTube
You can see it, yeah.
with the players and everything. Oh, let's see. Oh, good. In English. Oh, good. Not Sanskrit.
Pali, all in Pali.
He actually taught in Magadha, I thought. In Buddha. The local language is Magadha.
Well, there are many.
It was the Indian province.
Yeah,
Pali
and
is
that
the
was the
language.
dialect he spoke in support, according to.
Magadha Pali.
So, freedom, in the sense of liberty to pursue happiness and to hold and express personal views, likewise contributes to our sense of inner peace. In societies where this is not permitted, we find spies who pry into the lives of every community, even the family itself. The inevitable result is that people start to lose confidence in one another. They become suspicious and doubt others' motives. Once a person's basic sense of trust is destroyed, how can we expect them to be happy?
That's a big one. That is a big, big, big.
Prosperity, too, not so much in the sense of having an abundance of material wealth, but more in the sense of flourishing mentally and emotionally, makes a significant contribution to our sense of inner peace. Here again, we might think of the example of the Tibetan refugees who prospered in spite of their lack of resources. So indeed, each of these factors, health, friends, freedom, prosperity, plays an important part in establishing a sense of individual well-being. Yet without a basic feeling of inner peace and security, they are of no avail. Why? Because, as we saw, our possessions are themselves a source of anxiety. So are our jobs, insofar as we worry about losing them. Even our friends and relatives can become a source of trouble. They may get sick and need our attention when we're busy with important business. They may even turn against us and cheat us. Similarly, our bodies, however fit and beautiful they may be at present, must eventually give in to old age. Sorry?
Sickness and pain.
Nor are we ever invulnerable to sickness and pain. Thus, there is no hope of attaining lasting happiness if we lack inner peace. Where, then, are we to find inner peace? There's no single aware answer, but one thing is for sure: no external factor can create it, nor would it be any use asking for inner peace from a doctor. The best he or she could do is offer us antidepressants or sleeping pills. Similarly, no machine or computer, however sophisticated and powerful, could give us this vital quality. In my view, developing inner peace, on which lasting and therefore meaningful happiness is dependent, is like any other task in life. We have to identify its causes and conditions and then diligently set about cultivating them. This, we find, entails a two-pronged approach. On the one hand, we need to guard against those factors which contribute to obstruct it, and on the other hand, we need to cultivate those which are conducive to it. So what are the factors which obstruct, and what are the factors that are conducive to it? Happiness, peace of mind, inner peace.
Well, letting go of the past is important, isn't it?
Letting go of the past?
Yeah, when we bring along a personal history of how we spent our time and our lives and so on, and we make personal judgments of, I did very well in college, but my first job was crummy and so on. If we can just let go of all that. Okay, so if we review all that as being an important part of who we are today and what we've accomplished and going forward, if we could just let go of all that.
But can't some of that actually help us? If you think the example was, I worked hard in college and I did well. And then I came out and I indulged in all sorts of things. So remembering those things help us develop the determination to diminish the tendency towards the things that have caused us to not do well and cultivate those things that...
You can make a good case for that. But what if you just let go of it all and said, this is where I am now today, and I know myself to be capable to get on a train, come to a class, etc. But I mean, why should what you've done in the past be at all relevant to attaining happiness in the future?
Because all the happiness that we have now is a result of the work that we did in the past. And having an understanding of causality is helpful, no?
But a major part of it must be based on our previous lives. What we did previously and what we brought into this lifetime. And since few of us can have any knowledge of that, isn't this all just conjecture? You had merit from the past, which enabled you to... you were not born as a ditch digger in the ditch digger's family, and so on.
But I took your original point as, if we are thinking negatively about our past, we can let go of that. We can forgive ourselves. And
what about the good stuff, though? What about the good stuff?
I agree with
It's over.
KHENSUR Nicholas. Those things are good to reflect on, to give us confidence and to move forward.
It's over.
It's over, but we are living on the tendencies, the continuum of habit that we have to watch over and continue to head in a virtuous direction. Mm-hmm. And that comes from our behavior in the past. And
okay, that's a learned behavior.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or it's an instinctive behavior.
Yeah, but what you're saying is there's a value in sitting and not thinking about the past at all and just being in the moment. Is that what you're...
Is there a value in doing that? And also not defining oneself in terms of the Social Security number and so on.
Well, I think it's good to remember one's social security number.
You think that's a good thing?
It helps.
Practical.
Well, when you get before the
That's a
pearly
good
gates,
thing.
I just don't know if that social security number should be right.
I think St. Peter is going to ask you,
Ask
what
you
is your
first. You have
social
to sign
security number?
some-
Yep.
Yeah.
Who goes here?
No, we mustn't dwell on the past. We mustn't, but we can learn a lot if we analyze our habits and we there, based on that analysis, work towards changing our habits in constructive ways.
Yes, okay. I agree.
So we have to work towards developing inner peace. Where did we reach?
We reached this so far, in other words, 58. You need to cultivate those which are conducive to it, and so far is where we would start again, as the conditions are in
So far, okay.
top of 58,
Yeah.
first paragraph. Any names, Karen?
Yeah.
We're being asked to pray for Claude Menieux, Peebo Bryson, and Rick Edelman.
Rick Edelman?
So we shall read the Sutra of the Recollection of the Noble Three Jewels. I prostrate to the Omniscient One. Thus the Buddha, Bhagavat, Tathagata, Arhat, Samyak Sambuddha, the learned and virtuous one, the Sugata, the knower of the world, the charioteer and tamer of beings, the unsurpassable one, the teacher of devas and humans, is the Buddha Bhagavat. The Tathagata is in accord with all merit. He does not waste the roots of virtue. He is in complete ornament. He is the basis of the treasures of merit. He is adorned with the minor marks. He blossoms with the flowers of the major marks. His activity is timely and heart appropriate. Seeing him, he is without disharmony. He brings true joy to those who long with faith. His knowledge cannot be overpowered. His strength cannot be challenged. He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He is the king of noble ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city of nirvana. He possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. His melody is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He is not stained by the realm of desire. He is not stained by the realm of form. He is not affected by the formless realm. He is completely liberated from suffering. He is completely and utterly liberated from the skandhas. He is not possessed with dhatus. His ayatanas are controlled. He has completely cut the knots. He is completely liberated from extreme torment. He is liberated from craving. He has crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdoms. He abides in the wisdom of the Buddha Bhagavats who arrive in the past, present, and future. He does not abide in nirvana. He abides in the ultimate perfection. He dwells on the bhumi where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the perfect virtues of Buddha Bhagavat. The holy Dharma is good at the beginning, good in the middle, good at the end. Its meaning is excellent. Its words are excellent. It is uncorrupted. It is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Bhagavat teaches the Dharma well. It brings complete vision. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma, which is taught by the Bhagavat, is revealed properly in the Vinaya. It is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pithy. It is trustworthy and puts an end to the journey. As for the Sangha of the great Yana, they enter completely. They enter insightfully. They enter straightforwardly. They enter harmoniously. They are worthy of veneration with joined palms. They are worthy of receiving prostration. They are a field of glorious merit. They are completely capable of receiving all gifts. They are an object of generosity. They are a great object of complete generosity. The protector who possesses great kindness, the omniscient teacher, the basis of oceans of merit and virtue. I prostrate to the Tathagata. Pure, the cause of freedom and compassion. Virtuous, liberating from the lower realms. This alone is the supreme ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma which is peace. Having been liberated, they show the path to liberation. They are fully dedicated to the disciplines. They are a holy field of merit and possess virtue. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the Buddha, the leader. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully and always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivables, therefore their fruitions are inconceivable. May they be born in a completely pure realm. 8 virtues for changing the mind. With the determination to accomplish the highest welfare of all sentient beings, who surpass even a wish-granting jewel, I will learn to hold them supremely dear. Whenever I associate with others, I will learn to think of myself as the lowest possible, and respectfully hold others to be supreme from the very depths of my heart. In all actions, I will learn to search into my mind. And as soon as a disturbing emotion arises, endangering myself and others, I will firmly face and avert it. I will learn to cherish ill-natured beings and those oppressed by strong speeds and sufferings, as if I had found a precious treasure difficult to find. When others out of jealousy treat me badly, with abuse, slander, and so on, I learn to take all loss and offer the victory to them. When the one whom I have benefited with great hope unreasonably hurts me very badly, I will learn to view that person as an excellent spiritual guide. In short, I will learn to offer to everyone without exception all help and happiness, directly and indirectly, and respectfully take upon myself all harm and suffering from others. I will learn to keep all these practices undefiled by the stains of the ego-worldly concerns, and by understanding of phenomena as like illusions, be released from the bondage of attachment. Prayer for the swift return. Exalted wisdom of all victors gathered in a drop, sole refuge manifest in the form of the one wearing saffron robes, Guru Labzangtu Wando Jichang, please bear witness here today that our prayers may be fulfilled. We beseech the great doctrine, accomplishing from long ago the vast ways of inspirational prayers. Lord of speech, to Victor Losang's teachings, spreading them to the ends of the earth by means of explanation and practice. Though holding the commitment, I will invite all beings to be my guests in unsurpassed great awakening. Yet you have withdrawn the activities of the blind bodies that serve the welfare of others. Is that worthy of the supreme among beings, the Bodhisattvas? Though impossible for you till sickly existence end, to abandon your commitment to liberate all beings, we beseech the new son of Nirmanakaya to swiftly return from the realm of Dharmakaya, brought forth by Bodhicitta, drawn by 7 steeds. Having reached the far limits of scholarship, religious life, and goodness, please come swiftly as an unrivaled supreme emanation, full holder of the sage's teachings, and the wish-fulfilling jewel, return to the glory of magnificent truth of the 3 precious jewels, Mahakala, Karmayama, and Srimati Devi, and the ocean of Dharma protectors. May you spontaneously fulfill our wish, the swift blossoming of the reincarnation's fresh moon-like face. So, this Saturday there will not be the Tara here. It's next Saturday. But on Monday at 151... Monday, 151 West 30th Street, 3rd floor. We have class at 7 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.